If you want a second chance with your ex, then you need to know about the mirror technique. So I'm going to teach you how to use this technique to break down the barriers between you and your ex, to understand what they're thinking, and connect with them more deeply so that you can win them back. And then I'll go beyond the overall strategy and get into hyper-specific techniques that you can use in the moment to totally flip your ex's perception of you. I am, of course, Brad Browning, author of the X Factor 2.0 and breakup coach here on YouTube for almost 15 years now. I've helped tens of thousands of people rebuild their relationship with their ex, and I can help you as well. Mirroring is important because it helps you remove one of the major barriers to reconnecting with your ex, and that is anxiety. Both your ex's anxiety and your own anxiety around the breakup. I mean, think about it. This situation with your ex is pretty high stakes. You want them back, and you're so afraid to do anything to screw it up. And you should be, because what you do right now is very important. And your ex is nervous too, but for them it's going to be a little bit different, because they don't know exactly what they want. They're probably feeling confused and really unsure about the whole thing. And talking to you is going to make this even worse for them. Every time they get a message from you, your ex thinks, oh God, what do they want? Are they going to try to sleep with me, win me back, be my friend? I'm not sure if I can give them what they want. And all of this fear is going to be a major barrier to reconnecting. Because it doesn't matter how much they care about you and love you, if your presence scares them, they're not going to stick around for long. So you essentially need to show your ex and yourself that this situation isn't scary, that you can still feel safe and happy together. And one of the best ways to do that is through mirroring. So what is mirroring, and how does the mirror technique work? Well, mirroring is all about connecting with another person through subtle imitation. But it's not just about being a parrot. We're going to take this a little bit further and talk about how you should mimic your ex's approach, attitude, and outlook, as well as their mannerisms. Now, the goal here is to make your ex see that you're meeting them halfway, seeking to understand and validate them. And by matching their energy, you're never overwhelming them or pursuing them too aggressively. Essentially, you're letting them set the pace, respecting their boundaries, and becoming a safe place for them again. And to make that happen, you're going to have to learn both active and passive mirroring. And as with all of my advice, subtlety and a light touch are crucial. Because remember, this is just one part of a larger strategy to win back your ex. But it's also a great place to start. Now, let's take this one step at a time. You start by mirroring your ex before the two of you have even met up or had really any communication at all. The real first step is to match their energy around the breakup. So here's a pattern that I see all the time. The breakup happens and you and your ex separate and you stop communicating. You give your ex space to let them cool down and cool off. And after waiting for what feels like an eternity, but in reality is probably just a few days, you decide to reach out and tell them how you love them and you need them in your life. But then you find that when you do, it doesn't go the way you'd hoped. They're shocked by your admission and they tell you that they don't feel the same way. They reject you and end the conversation as soon as possible, leaving you all alone. Now, your mistake here was that you didn't look at this situation from their point of view. What are they feeling? What do they seem to want and what kind of energy are they giving off? And if you think about it, you'll realize that they're probably just focused on getting some space and processing what happened. They're still figuring out how they feel about the whole thing when you just barged in with a dozen roses and a poorly written poem and you scared them away. So it's safe to say that the two of you are not on the same page mentally or emotionally. And when that's the case, you need to keep your distance from them. Because the first thing to know about mirroring is that it does have its limits. You can't bridge that big of a gap. So if you're about to tear your skin off because you miss your ex so much and they're just chilling and processing their feelings, you're not going to be able to get on the same page. It'll be really clear that you're just faking it, and that's going to push them further away from you. Now, you can get there eventually, but it happens in stages. The only real way to match their energy at this stage is by keeping your distance. So I'm sure you're saying, so I should just do nothing? How does that help me get them back? And no, you definitely shouldn't be doing nothing at this time. You should be doing the same thing that they're doing, processing the breakup and getting your own life back on track. So take some time to really think about the breakup and feel your feelings. Think about what went wrong, journal, reflect, do whatever you can to put the breakup behind you. And you might say, well, I saw my ex and they were a nervous wreck. They were weeping and drunk and making mistakes. So am I supposed to mirror that? Well, no, don't do that. That's actually one of the most important aspects of mirroring, and that is that we only mirror the good stuff, the positives. Remember, we are mirroring for a reason here. You're not trying to become your ex, you're trying to bring them closer to you. So if they're showing you really negative behavior like falling apart and breaking down or lashing out at people, then you definitely don't want to reflect that back to them. But at the same time, you do want to mirror their attitude towards the breakup. So if they're being distant, you can be distant. Don't see their 3-word text at 1 a.m. and then immediately send them back an essay. And if they ask you to give them a ride to the airport after they blew you off a bunch of times, well, don't do them that favor. Now, of course, it can be really hard to resist your ex's offers like this because you probably just want to see them so badly. But this is your emotions getting you into trouble. You don't think about how it's making you look to your ex because you're just so focused on seeing them that you'll ignore the obvious issues. So again, think about your ex's point of view. The ride to the airport, for example. They can say, they say, "Can I please have a ride to the airport?" And you say, "No, I can't. I don't think it's a good idea. I need some space." And chances are they're not going to be super happy about this at first. I mean, they actually did probably want that ride. But then when the conversation's over, your ex is going to think, damn, they're right. I wouldn't want to give them a ride to the airport either. It's too soon. And these are the little moments of connection that make mirroring work so well. But again, I'm speaking generally here. This depends on your ex in particular. You need to really get inside their head to mirror them. Now, once you're through the first stage, which is keeping your distance from your ex a few weeks, then how do you move forward after that? Now, mirroring your ex too strictly can sometimes leave you in a stalemate. If they don't reach out, then you don't reach out, and so nothing happens, and eventually you both just move on. So remember, we only use mirroring when it's actually going to help the situation. So if nothing's happening after a few weeks of silence, then you are going to have to reach out and get things started. And this is when you need to be really paying attention to 2 things. 1, picking up the signals that your ex is sending, and 2, matching their energy. So reach out, but be cautious. Does it feel like your ex is trying to get out of the conversation? Are they maybe wondering what your motivations are? Or do they want to talk more? Maybe they're hinting at something. Sometimes it's good to read and reread their messages a few times before you actually respond. You're not on the clock here. It's better to take 10 minutes to say the right thing than it is to be lightning fast with the wrong response. So look for clues to how they feel and then match their energy. So if they send short messages, you reply with short messages. If they take an hour between responses, then you can take 90 minutes. And this might feel like playing games, but it really does work. It's just simple psychology. And when you treat your ex the way that they treat you, you put them at ease. Because really, we're always more comfortable in a conversation with somebody who's matching our energy. We don't like to feel like we're doing too much or not enough. And that's what you want, right? You want your ex to feel relaxed. The button that you push to call the elevator? Well, I often see a lot of people press that button over and over. It's like a nervous habit. But it doesn't make the elevator come any faster, does it? It just makes you look nervous and on edge. Remember, you only need to press it 1 time. And the same goes for texting your ex. Send 1 message at a time. And if your ex doesn't respond, then the worst thing you can do is follow up with another message 10 minutes later, an hour later, a day later. You're just showing your ex that you've been waiting desperately for that message. And this will show them that you're obsessing over them, which of course is going to put pressure on them and scare them off. So before you send another text to your ex, ask yourself, did I already push the button? Now, sometimes mirroring isn't going to be enough to bring back your ex. So if you are in a very tough situation, I would love to help you out. Just go to breakupbrad.com/coaching after the video and sign up for my one-on-one email coaching program, and we can start talking today. Together, we'll put together a plan that's tailored to your ex. And trust me when I say I've helped thousands of people come back from seemingly impossible situations, and I would love to help you out as well. Again, to get all the details and sign up, just go to breakupbrad.com/coaching. All right, now we need to talk about agreeing with your ex. Now, I know I told you not to do your ex too many favors, especially if they're not giving you the time of day, and that does still apply. But I do actually think that agreeing with your ex should generally be your default, unless you have a good reason not to. Now, I'm not saying that you should suck up to your ex or just tell them what they want to hear. I'm saying that unless it's about something important, make agreement your default response with your ex. So if they say, did you see that new movie? I loved it. Then don't respond with an essay about how much you hated that movie. Remember your goal here, right? You want your ex to relax and feel comfortable around you. So why would you be arguing over things that really don't matter? Is it important to share your thoughts about the movie here, or is it better to just say, yeah, I really liked it too, and then move on to something else? Think about why your ex is saying these things. They're trying to make a connection with you. So look at every trivial comment as an opportunity to get closer to them. And these little tweaks are really what the mirroring technique is all about. It's about changing the dynamic. You're flattering them, but not in a way that makes you look pathetic. It's a lot more subtle than that. What I mean is that it's hard to flatter your ex at this stage without them losing some respect for you. So I'm sure you've heard the advice, maybe even from one of my past videos, that you don't want to start complimenting your ex, telling them how special they are and how important they are to you. Now that is going to make them feel better about themselves, but it's also going to make them feel worse about you because it'll make you seem desperate and pathetic. They're rejecting you and you're repaying them with compliments. It's just not very attractive. And that's because you're not matching their energy. Now, if you're starting to reconnect in a more serious way and your ex is saying sweet things about you, that's the time to give that kind of energy back. And this is really what it means to let your ex set the pace. They need to see that you're exactly as invested as they are at any given point. And this is something that you need to focus on when you first start spending time together, because you really can't rush this. So take the time to connect slowly. As you talk more and more, they'll start to hint that they want to see you. Maybe they'll mention something you used to do together, or tell you that they're bored or that they're lonely, something like that. So don't jump in with a specific plan right off the bat. Let it build slowly before you make a suggestion. And don't get too upset if they say no at first. Just keep that connection alive and build up to it. Don't get upset or lash out. Don't beg. Show them that you respect their boundaries and then maintain your own as well. Show them that you can be stable, because your ex may associate you with chaos if the breakup was really bad. It really only takes a couple of fights and a bit of unpredictable behavior, and they'll bristle at the thought of seeing you. But if you can mirror correctly, they're going to realize that you can be a source of safety and security again. So we've talked about mirroring their approach, attitude, and outlook. Now let's talk about a few more micro techniques that you can use when you do see your ex face-to-face, or even if you talk on the phone. And we'll start with technique number 1, the bounce back. Now, an FBI hostage negotiator named Chris Voss teaches this technique. He says, it's stupidly simple, but it works. Really, all you need to do is just repeat the last 1 to 3 words of what your ex says to you. So imagine your ex says, it's been hard, but things are settling down. I'm just trying to get back on track. You'd say then in response, back on track, and then launch into whatever you have to say. And you can also use this as a question. I often find that people are reluctant to question their exes sometimes. They're afraid to let them lead the conversation because if they go off script, they won't know what to do. They could say anything. But if you don't, your conversations are going to get pretty dry. So it is sometimes important to ask your ex questions. So your ex might say, I hate that the breakup happened, but in some ways it felt necessary. Now your instinct might be to get offended, to shut down, pull away, maybe even lash out at your ex. But if you can remember to echo, then all you have to say is, it felt necessary, and now you're getting inside your ex's mind, bit by bit. And this can also be great when your mind goes blank and you just don't know what to say, because it validates your ex to know that you're listening, and it also allows you to guide the conversation really wherever you want it. Just one caveat, this is generally only for face-to-face or phone conversations, not texting, because it can come across sometimes as a bit confrontational. All right, and technique number 2 is body language matching. So this is what most people talk about when they talk about mirroring. And it's basic, but it really is incredibly valuable. So essentially, you want to match your ex's body language. And this is especially important early on in an interaction because it can really help set the tone. So first, you want to look at how they're holding their body. Are they closed off, arms crossed, shoulders tight, body pointed away from you? Or maybe they're relaxed, distracted, nervous. It's not always easy to tell what they're feeling, but if you match their body language, it'll allow you to actually feel their emotions a little bit. Because the same way that emotions change your body language can change your emotions. It's a feedback loop. And matching body language will also show your ex that you're on the same page. If they're hunched over, chair pushed back, looking at their phone, then you shouldn't be staring at them alert, fists clenched. That's just going to put them on edge. All right, and on to technique number 3, which is just to listen actively. Now, part of the power of mirroring is that it works on a physiological level. You're creating a connection subconsciously that's going to increase bonding. And active listening is a similar method. So start by actually listening to what your ex has to say. I know it's easy to get caught up in your own head and what you're about to say, but try to really hear them. And then you want to reflect back their enthusiasm. So if they're sad about something, be sad. If they're excited, you can be a little excited. And then you want to repeat back some of what they say here, just here and there, just to show that you're engaged. So maybe they say, and he took her to McDonald's for the first date. And you can just say, McDonald's? Now I know this is pretty simple stuff, but it does a lot to improve communication. And I'm always shocked by how many people don't realize that they're missing out. Now, ultimately, you need to know when to stop mirroring and take the lead. So don't be afraid to actively pursue your ex when the time actually comes. And if you've followed my advice up to this point, you will be more in touch with your ex's emotional state, so you'll know when they're going to be most receptive. Plus, your ex is going to be more relaxed and open to the idea of actually rebuilding the relationship if you've really been using mirroring effectively. And that does it for this one, guys. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. And I'd appreciate it even more if you'd like this video, subscribe, leave your questions in the comments below, and share the video with somebody else who might find some value in it. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.